Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. It is July, so yep, we're 7 months. We're to the 7th month of the year, which is hard to believe. I'm still trying to figure out where 2020 went, and 2022 seems to be right around the corner. It's flying by. So anyway, some good storms rolled through yesterday. I did not make the meeting on Wendell Ave at the library about the proposed roundabout, and that was due to the storm. Up near where I'm at, we got clobbered from Summit Road in Richmond, heading down to the Pittsfield Airport. It blew through there like you can't imagine. It took some trees down. It caused a mess. So anyway, I didn't make that. I got to find out what happened and what the result was of that was, how many people showed up and all that stuff. So, and again, that was about the proposed roundabout. It really didn't, as far as I know, had nothing to do with what's happening on Tyler Street right now or what happened with the bike lanes. And speaking of the bike lanes, Nick Russo, who I did an interview with him. Nick, he seems like a very nice young guy. He's running for Ward 2 City Council this year, and he's really upset. I've been following some of his posts on Facebook, and he's really upset about them changing the bike lanes back. He was, I think, one of the architects of that whole concept of the way it was with the bike lanes, all the changes that took place in the fall last year. And he's pretty upset. So check out some of his posts. I get he's a big proponent of bicycles and stuff. I don't really think that this was so much people afraid of change. I don't see it being that. Change can be a good thing, but not all change is good. And that was a strange time to roll out a program like that in the middle of nobody knew what the hell was happening with the world. It was a strange time for all that. So anyway, I'll talk about that later. But I'm going to find out what happened with yesterday's meeting. Crime in the city. The mayor promised us complete transparency, and I have to say, she's the most transparent mayor that we've ever had. She's so transparent, she's invisible. I don't know what's happened. Nobody's heard anything from her. She did that little blurb in the Eagle that day, and then iBerkshires did a combined piece with her and the DA, and that's it. We haven't heard anything. As far as our PPD and the Sheriff's Department and the State Police, the work they're doing, really, they are kicking butt right now. And they are out there in force, and I've heard from a lot of people, they've seen a huge increase in patrols, they're seeing a bigger police presence in their neighborhoods, and we're seeing a lot of arrests being made, and they're clamping down. So, that's awesome. Why the mayor doesn't want to come out and talk to anybody? I know it's not an election year for her. If this was an election year, oh my God, she'd be out there with a shovel in one hand, a hard hat, a baby, everything all these politicians have to do, standing behind a podium, handing out food and waters to people or something. But it's not an election year for her. We're not hearing anything. It's strange. It really is strange. That's one of the most important parts of that job. No one's asking her to come out and give away, whatever plans are going on in the city, but you have an obligation to communicate with the public. I don't get it. I do not get it. So anyway, great job, though, to our Pittsfield Police Department and to the Sheriff's Department and to the State Police that are working with them. They're doing a great job. Another thing I mentioned that I want to talk about that I mentioned in the last video is I kind of complained a little. I don't want to say complain, but I talked about the Berkshire Eagle. In my opinion, I think that they're very one-sided and they're more of an opinion publication than they are news. And a perfect example of that, I just mentioned that in that last video, and I have to bring this up. And I did have a few teachers that were upset message me. but it caught my attention immediately anyway. So the Berkshire Eagle, I think the day before yesterday, one of their top stories was Superintendent Joe Curtis accepts low end of the pay scale with City of Pittsfield or something like that. And, you know, and they said, well, when the school committee agreed to, that they were going to do their search, they were going to have a salary range between $165,000 and $180,000. And since Joe is he's agreeing to 168, he's taking the low end of it. And I read some of the comments on that, and it was like, oh, look at how great of a guy he is. See how he's trying to save the city of Pittsfield money. He's not all about the cash, and good for him. He's concerned about the taxpayers too, and not just the students. That is a perfect example of a misleading article. Because here's the deal, and I'm just going to go back and reference the Berkshire Eagle to December 12th, 2019. The pandemic was just starting, and we were about I think 2.5, 3 months, something like that, away from it really becoming an issue here, and we were all on lockdown. So right at the end of last year, they negotiated. Well, here's the article. Pay raises will roll out soon for the top 4 leaders of the Pittsfield Public Schools. The school committee on Wednesday approved the salary hikes as part of a set of fresh 6-year contracts for Superintendent Jake McCandless, Deputy Superintendent Joe Curtis, Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance Kristen Banke, and Assistant Superintendent of Career and Technical Education. Is that Tammy or Tommy Gage? I don't know. I think it's Tammy. The contracts are retroactive to July 2019 and run through June 2025. So, Jake McCandless, less than 2 years ago as our superintendent, was making $160,000 a year. They bumped him up because they said, oh, we've got to get current. We're not paying enough. We're going to lose top people. We've got to be with everyone else on an equal playing field to get the best. So we made everything current, with these contracts being extended through 2025 to be current until then. And Jake McCandless was bumped all the way up from $160,000 to $165,156. That would have kicked in July 2020, and when the pay in July 2020, and the pay will increase to $169,156. Joe Curtis earns $117,312 a year, and his will increase to $122,406, and then to $127,500. So they had these new contracts to go with 2% annual raises and everything. So his $168,500 is not saving anybody anything. That was such a misleading article. It made it seem like he was willing to take a pay cut. And look, I know they're trying to smooth things over in the city, because from what I've heard I haven't talked to all the teachers, but some of the teachers I've talked to, and a lot of the parents I've talked to, teachers and students are still, they want out. They're choicing out. They're not happy with things going on in our public school systems right now. They're not. And it's an issue. And I felt like that was kind of a really almost like a propaganda style article to try to smooth that situation over. It upset some teachers, I'll tell you that. Because he's doing pretty well. That's a big raise for him. And he's making the same, if not more, than what McCandless would be making. We're right on par with what is paid for that job. There's no big savings. Nobody took a cut. Nobody took the low end of anything. But I said, well, we said our search was going to be between 165 and 180. Come on, everybody knew who they were going to pick, and they knew that ahead of time, and everybody knew how much he was going to make. That's nonsense. That's not news. It was really frustrating. And that was the kind of stuff I was saying. I mean, the Berkshire Eagle has every right to their opinion, but the part that got me were some of those comments where people, and I'm sure they're good people, they just read that and said, yeah, good for him. See, he's trying to save us money. He's the kind of person we need. And That's not fair. That's not being honest to word it that way. It's not. And it's nothing against Joe Curtis or anybody. It's not being honest. That was a disaster, and I think we've got some problems that we're going to have to deal with our school system. But again, I've only talked to a few people, so that's just my opinion on what I've heard. So that's it for now, though. There's a ton going on, a lot to talk about. This weekend, it looks like it's going to be a washout, and there's a bunch of cool events this weekend. One that I want to attend on the 3rd through the West Side's Legends group there. There's an event going on down there, and there's a bunch of stuff. And, of course, then the 4th. And then on the 7th, we've got cruise night at the airport. Live on the Lake is back. A lot of stuff. So I'm going to get to all that, and we'll talk about some of that tomorrow, housing and some of that other stuff tomorrow. So, again, stay dry, everyone. Check out that Eagle article. It's worth reading. And then after you read the article, go back and reference the one from December 12th, 2019, and compare them. And come to your own conclusion. Use their own work against their own work. And you tell me if you think that that article was a little unfair and biased. So, all right, I'm going on forever about that. That is it for now. I don't know what's going to happen with my hair. I can't take it anymore. I can't. So it might be gone soon. I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'll catch you all tomorrow.